So advanced manufacturing systems. As I said, the drawbacks of a conventional machine like lathe machine and milling machine is that the time consumption is more, accuracy is not so high, okay, and all the operations are performed, all the every activities are performed by human beings. In order to reduce the time to get the more accuracy, we are going for the advanced manufacturing system. The advanced manufacturing system includes CAD/CAM, CAE. CAD/CAM means computer aided design and computer aided manufacturing, the computer aided analysis, additive manufacturing, and industrial robots. Okay, from the syllabus point of view, we are studying only the CNC machine and robotics. Rapid prototyping is not there in your syllabus. We'll discuss only the CNC machine. Okay, CNC machine and robotics. Okay, CNC machine. CNC is computer numerical control. Okay, so that accept a set of instruction. What you studied is program. Okay, so program or set of the instructions. Those programs are going to store in the memory of computer, which in turn controls the working of machine tools. Okay, and the program, whatever we are storing inside the computer memory, we can edit, we can modify anytime, okay, according to our requirements. Okay, that is the great flexibility of manufacturing using CNC machine. So the computer numerical control machine which accept set of instruction or program, and that program is going to store in the memory of the computer, and this which is in turn controlled by a controller unit. Okay, I'll tell the different parts of CNC machine. Now you see the most important is the components of CNC machine. Okay, so you can see on the screen there are basically three components of CNC machine. First one is program input device, second one is controller unit, and third one is your actual machine tool. These are the three basic components of CNC machine. Okay. The first one is the program input device, or it is also called as computer. So in computer or in program input device, the program is done either by manually or by means of punch tapes, and those set of instructions or programs are going to store inside the memory of the computer with the help of various softwares that automatically generates the program required to produce the desired part. Okay, suppose I want to do some knurling operation, okay, or I want to do some a step cutting operation. In that case, we are going to write the codes. We are having G codes and M codes, so that comes in part programming. So we are going to put everything, that is set of instruction, in the memory of the computer with the help of various computer software. This is the first part of computer numerical control machine. Okay, this is the first one. And second one is the heart of CNC machine is the machine control unit, or it is also called as the controller unit. Okay, the machine controller unit mainly consisting of microcomputer and also the hardware components. Okay, that stores the program of instruction, and then the main function of the controller unit is to execute by converting each command into mechanical action of the machine tool. For example, so it receives the set of instruction from the program input device, and then executes those set of instruction by converting the each command into the mechanical action of the machine tool. It receives the program from program input device, and then forward those set of the instruction, means it executes those set of instruction, and it guides the machine tool what are the activities to be performed. Hence we can call it as the major part of the computer numerical control machine, and it consisting of microcomputer and also the hardware. Okay, controller hardware. Okay, these are the two main components of controller unit. Okay, and it also includes the software, calculation algorithm, and then transition software to convert the program into a suitable format. Okay, once it receives the commands or set of the instruction from computer input, and then it executes those commands by converting into the mechanical action of the machine tool, and then forward those set of the instruction to machine tool. After receiving the signal or after receiving the commands from the controller in it, the machine tool performs the actual work. Okay, this is the second component. The main function of the controller in it is to receive the set of instruction and also to execute by converting the each command into the mechanical action of the machine tool or command to the machine tool. This is the second part. Third part is our actual machine tool, what you studied in yesterday class. That is what it showed is nothing but is a milling machine. So what it is there in the diagram is milling machine, so that all the activities are performed by the set of instruction according to the set of instruction. So the computer performs. Hello, hello, any doubt? Any doubt? Okay, next third part is our machine tool. Okay, machine tool is the actual machine which performs the machining operation, and the machine, it may be a computer numerical control lathe or it may be the computer numerical control milling machine. Okay, according to the operation. Suppose if you are going to perform the cylindrical operation, in that case we are going to use CNC lathe. Suppose if you want to do all the operations like step cutting, facing, next groove cutting, T-slot milling, or dovetail slot cutter, or form milling, angle milling, in that case we are going to use a CNC machining center. Okay, so these are the three basic components of a CNC machine. First one is program input device, or it is also called as the computer. Second one is controller unit, and third one is the machine tool. Okay, and one more thing. Okay, the controller in it receives the feedback from the machine tool. Suppose if something goes wrong in the machine tool, the machine tool sends the feedback signal to the controller in it. So the controller in it rectifies, and thus those rectified signals or commands once again forwarded to the machine tool for the operation. Okay, so we are having these are the three major components. First one is program input device, means we are going to store the set of instruction or programs in the program input device through various software. And then second one is controller init. The main function of the controller init is to receive the signal or commands from the program input device, and then executes those commands by converting each command into the mechanical action of the uh, machine tool, and then it sends those signal to the machine tool for the actual machining operation of the given workpiece. Okay, and then machine tool actually performs the machining operation. It may be any machining operation. Suppose if something goes wrong, it sends the signals, feedback signal to the controller unit, and then in turn controller unit rectifies the whatever the message received from the machine tool, and then it sends back all the rectified signal to the machine tool for the operation. Okay, these are the three basic components of computer numerical control machine. Okay, next we are having the two types of loop system in CNC machine. Okay, one is open loop control system, and second one is control closed loop controller system in the CNC machine. You see the diagram, so you can see the first diagram is the open controller uh, open loop control system, and the second one what you are seeing is it is a closed loop control system. So as I said, the main function of the controller unit is to receive the signal from the computer and then sends those signals into the machine tool for the actual performance of the machine. Okay, so here in case of open loop controller system, so the motor receives the motor or controller unit receives the signal and sends directly those signal into the machine for performing the task. We don't have any feedback element in the open loop controller system. Suppose if the feedback element is not there, in that case it is very difficult to perform the task. Okay, suppose something goes wrong during the operation in the machine tools. If there is no feedback from the machine to the motor, in that case it is very difficult to rectify whatever the command signals it is getting from the computer. Directly send those commands into the machine tools for the operation, and there is no feedback element exist in the open loop controller system. Hence, this open loop controller system is not reliable in nature because of there is no feedback element. Okay, suppose something goes wrong, the same fault or wrong activity is going to perform in the machine tool. Hence, so the open loop controller system is not feasible in nature. Okay. On the other hand, you can see the another diagram. This is called as closed loop controller system. You see the block diagram of a closed loop controller system. Okay, we are having the comparator. Comparator is not there in open loop controller system. So we are having the motor or controller unit. Next, we are having actual machine, and then we are having a feedback element. It may be in the form of sensor or transducer. Okay, and here in actual thing, whatever the signals receives, motor or controller unit receives the signal from the computer and then sends those signal to the machine slide or actual machine. If suppose if some problems are there in the machine, then the machine sends the feedback signal to the feedback element in the form of a sensor or transducer, and then this feedback element in turn this one forwards all the signals received from the machine slide into the comparator. Okay, in the comparator it rectifies all the signals whatever received from the feedback element and then rectifies those signals, and then once again forward the same signal to the motor for the corrected operation. Hence in that case the whatever the closed loop controller system is most reliable in nature as compared to the open loop controller system, because we can do the corrective action. In case of closed loop controller system, there is no corrective action in case of open loop controller system. You remember the major parts of closed loop controller system are command signal, comparator, motor or controller unit, machine slide, feedback element. Okay, so the process is very simple. First, the motor or controller unit receives the starting receives the commands or set of instruction from the computer storage device, and then transfers those set of instruction to the actual machine. And then suppose something goes wrong in the actual machine, this machine slide, okay, sends the signal to the feedback element which is in the form of sensor. Okay, and then the feedback element in turn sends the signal to the comparator. The comparator rectifies all the signals received from the feedback element and then sends those corrected programs to the machine through the motor or controller unit. Hence we can say that the closed loop controller system is most flexible in nature. Okay, first we studied the difference definition of CNC machine. Then the two types of next important is the parts of a CNC machine. First one is computer input device, second one is controller unit, and third one is our actual machine tool. And in the next part we studied the different controller system in the CNC, that is open loop and closed loop controller system. Okay, next I'll discuss what are the advantages of CNC machine. The most important, what are the advantages of CNC machine over conventional machine. Okay, first advantage is that the machine can run 24 hours. Okay, this is a one main major advantage. Okay, on the other hand, conventional machine will not run 24 hours. They will run for only two shifts, means 16 hours. Okay, so this CNC machine can run for 24 hours and all 365 days they are operating. Hence we'll get the higher productivity because of the machine runs for 24 bar 7 and for all 365 days. Okay, on the other hand, conventional machines will not work for 24 hours. Second important advantage is that we'll get the higher precision with better control of the products. So the precision or accuracy is very high in case of uh, CNC machine as compared to the conventional machine. Okay, and we can perform multiple operations at a time. Okay, for example, I want to do first step cutting and then T-slot milling. In that case, in conventional machine we have to set each time you have to change the tools, but here once you fix the tool in the tool post, so automatically the palette changes and then we can perform the variety of tasks. Okay, hence the advantage is multiple operation facilities possible using CNC machine. Okay, and then fourth one is does not require a skilled operator. Okay, once we set the program, okay, so the machine automatically performs all the tasks according to the set of instruction or the set of programs. Okay, hence it does not require any skilled operator. Okay, and improved automation means the operator intervention is during manufacturing can be reduced. Okay, means for example, suppose if you take in the lathe machine, first he has to set the tool and then movement of the arm and then movement of the tool post, next holding of the job in the check, and then after that he have to set the depth of cut, the feed, everything. But here once you set the you have to fix the instruction, the automatically all the operations can take place. Hence we can say that improved automation is possible in case of CNC machine. Okay, this is the fifth advantage. Then sixth advantage is that repeatability. Okay, once the program is verified and fixed inside the computer memory, okay, so that the same operation can be do it for so many components. Suppose if I set a set of instruction to the computer, it can perform the number of operations. So reliability is more in case of CNC machines. Okay, next, flexibility. As I said, we as CNC machine can perform variety of tasks. Okay, so the variety of programs and workpieces we can fix, and we can get the many machining operation in case of CNC machine. And motion control. Okay, for example, in case of robots and those things, okay, there is a three axis movement, that is XYZ movement is possible in case of robots. Okay, but it is not possible in case of conventional machine. Okay, so for example, you take a lathe machine, we can move the tool post only in X direction or Y direction, but it is not possible to move in the Z direction. Hence, the motion control. CNC machine can allow the motion of cutting tool, okay, in all the three directions, that is X, Y, and Z direction. That is the advantage. And next, increased machine utilization. So if the machine is properly utilized, CNC machines can run continuously for 24 hours and 365 days. Okay, so these are the advantages. I'll repeat the advantages. The first one is the higher productivity because the machine can run for all 24 hours. The high precision is possible. Multiple operation facilities are possible. Does not require a skilled operator. Improved automation, repeatability and reliability, flexibility, motion control, and increased machine utilization. Okay, and disadvantage, will come to the disadvantages part. Okay, initial cost of the machine is very high. Okay, because compared to the conventional machine, the initial cost of the CNC machine is very high. Then we have the high maintenance cost because of the sophisticated parts of the CNC machine. And one more disadvantage of a CNC machine is that it requires a skilled programmer. Okay, programmer has to program the set of instruction properly, then only the proper functioning of the CNC machine takes place. Okay, so advantages, skilled operator is not required. Okay, the disadvantage is that it requires skilled programmer. Okay, so these are the three disadvantages of the CNC machine. First one is high initial cost. Initial cost is very high because of sophisticated parts. Maintenance cost is also high due to the sophisticated parts of the CNC machine, and it requires skilled programmer. These are the three disadvantages of CNC machine. Okay, next, whatever CNC machining center. Okay, conventional machine, for example lathe, we are calling it as conventional lathe. Okay, whenever we are using the lathe with respect to computer numerical control, we are calling it as CNC turning center. Turning center means CNC lathe, both are same. Okay, so and this turning center or CNC lathe controlled by computer programs that can perform multiple machining operations, like whatever operations we are doing in the lathe machines, like facing, cylindrical turning, taper turning, thread cutting, facing, all the operations are performed by CNC lathe called as CNC turning center, and all uh, operations are controlled by computer program. Okay, the CNC lathe or CNC turning center, both are same. Okay, on the other hand, conventionally we are calling it as a milling machine. So when comes to the CNC, we are calling it as vertical machining center. Vertical machining center means the spindle of the CNC machine is in vertical position. It is very similar to vertical milling machine, but only difference is that all the activities are performed through set of instruction or programs. Okay, and one more is horizontal machining center. Horizontal machining center is where the position of the spindle is in horizontal position. Okay, so and it is very similar to horizontal milling machine, as we studied in the previous class, that the cutter is connected to the arbor and that arbor is in horizontal position. Here also same thing, no difference at all, but all the activities are performed through set of instruction, that is computer numerical control. Okay, so these are, one is, it is called a VMC, HMC and turning center. Okay, next comes our robotics. Most important part is robotics. Okay, robotics, first you should know the definition of robotics. It is defined as a reprogrammable multifunctional manipulator. Okay, so manipulator means we are having the links and arms. Okay, and that is called as manipulator. Is defined as reprogrammable, so we can change the program. Okay, that is called as reprogrammable multifunctional. Okay, means it can perform the holding of job, and then it can do assembly, so it can do the painting. All the activities are performed through the robots. Okay, so it is a reprogrammable multifunctional manipulator which is designed to move the materials, any parts, tools. Okay, it is also possible to move the tools from one place to another place, or the movement of the special equipments through variable programmed motion for the performance of a particular task. That is the definition of a robot. It is a reprogrammable multifunctional manipulator which is designed to move the parts, materials, tools, or any special devices through variable programmed motion for the performance of variety of tasks. Okay, this is the definition of robots. Okay, now I'll explain what are the different parts of robot. So you can see the robot anatomy. So this is the robot anatomy. So this is the ground. On the ground, we are having the base of robot, and we are having the different joints. Okay, so different joint one, there are many number of the joints, and we are having the body. So joint one is connected to body. Okay, and then different joints are connected through the arms. Okay, we are having so many arms in the there will be arm movement takes place. Okay, so these are the parts of the robot. Okay, on the ground we are having the base. Okay, so next we are having joint 1 and joint 2. So we are having on the body we are having the joint 1. Okay, and this joint 1 is connected to number of the joint through different arms. Okay, the arm is a connection between joint 1 and joint 2, and then we are having the different arms. So we can tell the different parts of robot are base, body of the robot, then joints, and then this is called as link 1 and the link 2. Okay, link 1 is connection between joint and the arm, that is called as link. So this is the basic anatomy of the robot. Okay, yeah, so Nandila. Yeah, so this is the basic anatomy of a robot. Next important is robot configuration. Okay, so you have to concentrate on this part, robot configuration. There are different configuration of the robot. One is Cartesian configuration, second one is cylindrical configuration, third one is polar configuration, and fourth one is jointed arm and SCARA, selective compliance assembly robot arm. Okay, so this is the most important part. Okay, so robot configuration: Cartesian, cylindrical, polar, jointed arm, and SCARA, selective compliance assembly robot arm. Okay, so just you have to practice the diagrams. Okay, you have to explain the configuration with the sketches. Okay, and most of the time they used to ask these diagrams, hence you have to practice these diagrams. Okay, try to practice 3D diagram. If it is not possible, better you practice 2D diagram. Okay, so 3D diagram preferable. If it is not possible, you have to practice the 2D diagrams. You can see the two diagrams in the left side. We are having the pictorial view, that is the 3D diagram. On the right hand side, we are having the 2D diagram. So you have to practice these diagrams. You have to sketch. You have to give the explanation what kind of configuration it is, and then you have to write the advantages, disadvantages, and application. These are the 5 points you should remember. First, sketch of the configuration, second one explanation, third one advantage, fourth one disadvantage, and fifth one is application. Okay, uh, so you have to practice these diagrams. Okay, this whatever diagrams you are seeing on the right hand side. Okay, better you have to practice first. What do you mean by configuration, Cartesian configuration robot? It is called because the arm movement, okay, is designed to move parallel to x, y, and z axis of Cartesian coordinate system, because here the arm is having the capacity to move in x, y, and z direction. That's why it is called as the Cartesian configuration robot. Okay, means we can have the linear movement using this robot. We can move the arm in xy direction. This is the x direction. Okay, you can move the arm. You see the parts of the robot. This one is base, and this one is a link, and this one is arm. We are having different arms. Okay, this is called as wrist. These are the basic parts of robot. Okay, it's very similar to human parts. Okay, so this is base, and these are the arms what you are seeing, and this is called as a wrist movement. Okay, here the arm is having the capacity to move in x, y, and z directions. Okay, that's why the name is called as the Cartesian coordinate system. And the another name for Cartesian convection robot is rectilinear or gantry robots. You remember another name? It is also called as gantry robot or rectilinear robot. Okay. And next comes to the disadvantages of this configuration. So here, because of the simple construction, it is very simple to control the linear moments and also easy to visualize where the R moment takes place. Easily we can visualize because of the linear movement of the arm in the robot. Okay. Second advantage is that due to linear movement, we'll get the high rigidity and accuracy and also repeatability. Okay. This is another advantage. Due to linear movement, we'll get the high degree of mechanical rigidness, then accuracy is also high, and also repeatability we can achieve using this Cartesian coordinates. Then third one, due to linear moment, it can carry the heavy loads. Okay. And then a fourth advantage is that we can start and stop simultaneously along all the three axes. So motion of the wrist end is smoother. Okay. Because of the linear movement, we can start and stop all the movement of the arm in all the three direction. And also the motion of the wrist is smoother. Okay. So you can stop and start at any moment. So these are the advantages. So the first one is very simple in construction. Okay. Simple control to for the linear movements. Second advantage is easy to visualize where the arm moves. Then high degree of mechanical rigidity, high degree of accuracy, and the repeatability. It can carry the heavy loads. You remember, compared to other configuration, the Cartesian configuration is the one which carry the higher and heavy loads. Okay. And another advantage is that we can start and stop the R movements at any time and along the all three axis, and motion of the wrist is smoother as compared to other configuration. This is the advantages. Okay. Next, so due to linear movement of the arms, we'll get the rectangular workspace. Okay, whatever the workspace we're getting, it is in rectangular shape. Okay, you see the second diagram, the workspace is rectangular in nature. Okay, so due to the rectangular workspace, the arm moment is limited. So that we can fix the arm moment. Suppose if it is around 1000 mm, means it can move the arm up to 1000 mm only because of the rectangular workspace. This is a limited movement of the arm. Okay. So then second one, and it occupies a large area as compared to other configuration. Okay. So the another drawback of this Cartesian coordinate system is that compared to other configuration of the robots, this robot configuration requires more space as compared to other configuration of the robots. Okay. Next, this so concentrate on these two diagrams. Cartesian coordinates sketch explanation means all the arms movement takes place in linear direction, that is x, y, and z direction. Next comes advantages, disadvantages, and finally the application. This kind of robots can be used in assembly of parts, welding, so that welding, this kind of robot can do welding, the machine loading and unloading. So machine loading means taking the load from a place and then unloading, and also we can use such kind of robot in a surface finishing operation and also in inspection operation. So these are the basic function application of Cartesian coordinates. So it is helpful in assembly work, welding work, machine loading and unloading, surface finishing, and inspection. Okay. Second one, you see the cylindrical configuration robot. Okay. So you see the difference. We'll get the rectangular workspace in Cartesian coordinates. Here cylindrical workspace we'll get in case of cylindrical configuration. Why the name cylindrical configuration is that the arm moment of the robot arm, this is the arm. Okay, this is the arm moment of the robot is designed to move according to the cylindrical coordinate system. That's why it is called cylindrical coordinate system. Okay, and construction is here. We are having the base, and this is the vertical column. On the vertical column we are having the slide. Okay, so you can draw these two diagrams, workspace and 2D view. So this is the base, this is the column, and this is your arm, and this is your wrist. Okay, and this is our 3D diagram. Okay, so column, on the column we are having slide, and the arm is fixed to the slide, and this wrist is fixed to the arm. Okay, this is the basic configuration of cylindrical configuration robot, and this is our workspace. We'll get the cylindrical configuration gives the cylindrical workspace, and this is a 2D diagram. Okay, the next advantage is that, okay, so compared to rectangular workspace, the cylindrical workspace is more. Okay, so we'll get larger workspace in case of cylindrical configuration, and the program is very easy. Okay, as compared to other configuration, it is relatively easy to do the programming. These are the advantages. We'll get the larger workspace, and second one, the programming is relatively easy. Next, we are having the disadvantage. So in case of Cartesian coordinate system, we'll get the high degree of mechanical rigidity. Okay, but due to this moment of the arm, we will not get the much rigidity in case of cylindrical configuration system. The mechanical rigidity is less. Okay, because of the arm moment, and the accuracy is also reduced due to the cylindrical movement of the arm. So we will not get the required accuracy as compared to the Cartesian coordinates, and it requires most sophisticated control system. Okay, so control system is easy in Cartesian coordinates, but in case of cylindrical coordinates, the control system is sophisticated. Hence, the cost will be more as compared to the Cartesian coordinates. Only two advantages: larger workspace and relatively easy to program. Okay, disadvantage: less mechanical rigidity, and then we are having the less repeatability, less accuracy, and it requires the most sophisticated control system. In terms of application, so it is mainly used for pick and place operation, machine loading and unloading, and then conveyor pellet transfer, assembly, coating application. Okay, it is also helpful in assembly operation, machine loading and unloading. Pick and place is another important application of this robot. Okay, this is a second configuration. Third configuration is polar configuration. Okay, don't make confusion between polar and cylindrical configuration. So you have to draw this diagram. This is a diagram. Robot arm movements in polar configuration. This is a 3D diagram. Okay. So why the name polar configuration? It is also called as spherical configuration robot, because whatever the workspace within the robot in which the arm movement is of partial sphere. Okay, whatever the workspace we are getting is in spherical shape. That is why it is called as spherical configuration uh, or polar configuration. Okay, so cylindrical configuration is different, where we are getting the cylindrical workspace. In case of polar configuration, we are getting the polar shape or spherical shape. Okay, so here you see the diagram. This is the base, and this is called as the slide. On the slide we are having the arm, at the end of the arm we are having the wrist. These are the parts of a robot. This is the base, and this is the column, and this is the arm. At the end of arm we are having the wrist. Okay, the function of wrist is very similar to human wrist. Next, advantages. Okay, so once again, due to the spherical configuration, we'll get the larger workspace as compared to the Cartesian workspace. Okay, and second advantage is that configuration is very simple and very easy to design, and also easy to program. Okay, this is a second advantage. And third one, and it provides good weightlifting capacity, okay, compared to other robot configuration. So first one is larger working envelope, and second one is configuration is very simple in design and easy to program, and it provides the good weight lifting capability. And disadvantage is that, once again, uh, compared to Cartesian coordinates, the mechanical rigidity is reduced because of the spherical configuration. Rigidity is less. We'll get a high degree of mechanical rigidity in Cartesian coordinates. Okay, and once again, because of this construction, it needs most sophisticated control system. So as compared to Cartesian and cylindrical coordinate system, and then limited vertical moment. Okay, vertical moment is not so possible in case of this one in spherical coordinate. The vertical moment is possible in Cartesian coordinates, and hence the vertical moment is limited. Okay, so these are the three drawbacks. First one is mechanical rigidity is reduced, and it needs most sophisticated system. And third one, a limited vertical movement. And then with respect to application, once again, it is mainly used for coating application, coating of any part. Next, loading and unloading of machine tools, and material transfer application like pick and place. Okay, these are the basic applications of polar configuration. Next, jointed arm. Okay, so this is, you see, can see whatever you are seeing, this is called as a jointed arm configuration. It is very similar to that of human arm, consisting of the similar to human uh, parts of the body. Okay, so you see the diagram. Okay, this one is, we are having the base. On the base we are having shoulder. On the shoulder we are having the elbow, and here we are having the wrist. Okay, so it's very similar to human body. Okay, elbow, forearm, and this is the upper arm, and this is shoulder, and this is the base. This is the robot arm movements in the jointed arm configuration. You have to show the 2D diagram. This is the base, shoulder, this one is shoulder. Okay, next this one is arm, and this one is elbow, and this one is wrist. Okay, this is the 2D diagram, and this is the 3D diagram. Okay, and next comes to the advantages of this robot configuration. So it is the most flexible configuration among all the robot configuration, because the robot arm moves in all direction. Okay, so whatever direction you want, in x, y, z direction, or cylindrical coordinates like that, so it moves in all the direction. Hence we will get the most flexible configuration. You will get the large working envelope, or large working space is available using this robotic arm configuration. Next, versatile configuration, we can fix any number of arms, or this one to this robot. Hence it is most flexible in nature. We'll get larger working space, and also the most versatile configuration. Next comes to disadvantage. Because of this complexity, so that it requires complex programming compared to other configuration. So it is a complex programming, uh, and actions are very difficult. Control actions are very difficult compared to Cartesian, cylindrical, or spherical configuration. Okay, and then stability is less. Okay, so stability is very less. Control actions are very difficult and requires complex programming. Okay, finally, applications. Okay, mainly used for painting, welding, automatic assembly, welding, pick and place operation. Okay, these are the operation. Finally, I'll discuss what are the concluding this advantages and disadvantages of robots. Okay, so first one advantage, we can perform the variety of operations with more precision and repeatability. Robots have ability to work continuously at constant speed without pausing the brakes. Okay, hence that is most suitable for mass production applications, and safety is high in case of robots. Robots reduce the production cost, time, material waste. Okay, it can be performed to do the variety of tasks. These are the general advantages. Then disadvantage is initial investment cost is high. Okay, second one is maintenance cost is high, hence the cost will be more. Third one, um, robots cannot move easily as human beings do. Okay, they have some degree of freedom. Then robots require considerable human intervention. In some of the operation, human intervention is also required to do the operation. And one more, the disadvantage is that use of robots can lead to increase in the unemployment. Okay, this is the most important part. So suppose if all the activities performed by the robot, then there will be no job for the human being. This is the one most important drawback of robot. Okay, next, applications. Okay, it is categorized into three parts. One is material handling application, mainly for pick and place operation. So using robot we can do the material transfer, machine loading and unloading operations. Okay, so the robots are used to move materials or work from one location to another location. Okay, within a short span of time. Okay, so this is a one important pick and place operation. Second one is process application. Process application means welding process. So robots can do the welding, spray painting, grinding, coating, etc. So these are all the processing applications. First one is material handling, means machine loading, unloading, material transfer from one part to another part. Processing application means assembly. Next, painting, spray painting, grinding operation. Okay, this is the second application. And the last one is assembly and inspection. The robots are mainly used to assemble the various components. For example, the car components. Okay, so that is mainly useful in automobile industries for assembling of the automobile parts, various components of part, pick and place. Okay, and then even after performing the assembly, the robots can do the inspection for the dispatch. Okay, these are the most important application. First one is material handling, processing and assembly and inspection. Okay, so this completes the module 5 revision. Okay. Okay, I'll stop the meeting. You can leave the meeting. Okay, thank you.